Hello and welcome to the Wedding Dish Podcast. Grab your fork and knife and take a seat at our table as we dish on all things weddings. You'll hear stories and tips from real couples and wedding pros about life, love, and entrepreneurship. I'm Sarah Alapin, your hostess with the mostest on the Wedding Dish and CEO of Photos from the Hardy and District Bliss. We have our little French bulldog Bud splayed out on his bed this morning, snoozing away. It seems like that's what he's doing every time we record now. But, that's what he does. So before we get started, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, you've got to check it out. We dished with Ashley from Type A Design Studio. And she just makes incredible stationery, and she's just a total badass and lovely, lovely human. You definitely need to listen. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Wedding Dish. I am very excited to be welcoming today's guest. We are dishing with one of the vendors from our couple social in DC in January. One of the amazing Real Living at Home real estate team members, a realtor who is passionate about homebuyer education, Kimiko Smith. Thank you so much for being on the Wedding Dish today.
Hi, how are you? And quick is
I
Scott.
just said the wrong last name.
It's
See,
Scott.
I told you I make mistakes all the time. Kimiko Scott. What am I doing here? It's like my first time.
It's all right. I'm happy to be here.
I am so excited to be dishing with you about real estate. It's such a big piece that can be stressful, but it can also be really fun and it doesn't have to be stressful. Kind of like wedding planning. So, are you ready to dish?
I'm ready to dish.
All right. So, real estate is an expensive long-term commitment, also kind of like a wedding.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that couples and new home buyers should consider before settling on a home?
Oh, well, yeah. Before settling on the home, you want to think about affordability, right? That's one thing. I think also when you're considering buying a home, I think people get caught up in um, I do it myself, right? You look at these homes, you look at the areas, you're looking at the pricing. Oh, how much is that going to cost me? That's really pretty. And then you're looking at all these homes. And then maybe sometimes you reach out to a realtor first, but I'm not the person that you need to reach out to first, right? You need to speak with a lender. You need to speak with the bank and figure out what you can afford, figure out what's best for you, figure out what programs are out there for, in particular, new home buyers, right? And then you set all that up with them. They give you all of that financial information. And while I could give you, as your realtor, some brief notes and some education there as well, it's going to start with them because we can't move forward until you have an approval letter from them, right? So you need that from them that's going to say, hey, you can afford this. This is what you're qualified for, your type of loan. And I know all that sounds really stressful, right? But if you do that with them first, the right way, and figure out what you can do or cannot do, that makes my job and your experience with me the happy part. We get to go, we get to look at houses, we get to shop around, you get to, take tours. And I know most of us enjoy that. Going through other homes and trying to get an idea of where you can see yourself at, where you can see yourself living at. We're speaking to couples where you can see yourself possibly building your family at. So those are some of the things that I'd like to share with people about first looking for a home.
I think that's so commonly overlooked. And it's I see that in the wedding industry all the time too, where people want to go look at wedding dresses as their first step with planning, but they haven't put their budget together. And then you try on this dress and it's way outside of what you're comfortable spending, but you
Mm-hmm.
love it. And that's devastating. And I think that's a big piece there with buying a home, it being an even bigger commitment, something that you are probably even more excited about than a wedding dress. At least in my experience, I was more excited about the house than the wedding dress.
Yeah. That's gonna be, you're gonna live in that, right? Like the wedding dress, you're gonna have it on for a while. And some people you might save it for a child, you might donate it, you might, some people, you just keep it as a keepsake or momentum. But that home, that's gonna be something that you live in and you cherish and that you're a part of every day. So
And you maintain.
exactly. Yep.
Yes, totally. I love that. That's such great information. So, as someone who primarily works in what I consider to be a city area, you're kind of between two cities realistically.
Hmm.
So, you're between DC and Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm imagining work in both and
Mhm.
around outside too. But what are some of the components in specifically like a city area that are going to drive the home value up?
Yeah. So what's going to drive the whole value up is going to be access to metro, right? You're close to a metro and you can hop on that metro. That's going to probably cost you a little bit more. Even if you were living just outside, um, say DC or Baltimore, as you know, like in the DMV area, as we say here, even if you're inside the Beltway or if you're, in Rockville or Gaithersburg and you're near a metro, that could, drive the value up. Parking, um, is, is it a garage home or not garage home, street parking, things like that, as well as your accessibility to things, restaurants, shops, shopping centers, those types of things. You notice in new townhome community, if you're just outside the city, something like that comes up, and then there's all of a sudden a new shopping center with all these great places, right? Home value might be a little bit higher. So again, accessibility is a big piece, and whether that be metro, whether that be what's available in the community.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, parking is insanely valuable in the
Mhm.
city, and then, you don't have to have a car if you have metro access, and
Yes.
those things definitely drive it up. So it's like, you might be getting something in the city that's like double the cost of what you would be paying in the country.
Yes.
Out in like the outskirt, like the farther reaches, the places that I used to check when I was a teacher for whether we might have a snow day.
Yes. Well, too, and it's because like you said, you might, if it's a condo in the city, right, a townhome in the city, and you're thinking, like you said, it might be double the price of something an hour out. But that's because you can come downstairs and you can hop on the metro and go to where you need to be, or you could go downstairs and there's a CVS on the corner, or there are tons of restaurants across the street that you don't have to travel to, that you can walk a block or so to. Those things are going to matter.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally, totally. So I know you're really passionate about homebuyer education. What are some of the mistakes that you see couples or new home buyers make when they start their home search?
I think it goes back to a lot of what I was saying before. Just getting caught up in um, the searching, right? Kind of like what's that expression? Like you're shopping and you're trying to buy something before well, prematurely. And I found like a lot of people get caught up with that. I think sometimes you want to shop around for your lender. You want to be, that's just, just don't go find necessarily any lender. I'm definitely not downing them. They're hardworking individuals as well. But not everyone's the same. Not every lender has or works with the same type of programs, right? Like, DC, they have DC city specific programs, and same with Maryland. So you want to shop around and you want to ask those questions about what programs they have available, and when I say programs, that means, in regards to assistance, right? First time home buyers often want to know, um, is there down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, right? And some of those programs are going to provide that. But what I've learned is not every lender is well versed in those programs, or maybe some particular programs that might be best for you.
Yeah, I agree. And
Mhm.
honestly, if you do have a realtor, a lot of times they'll have a few lenders that might be helpful for you. So it's always good to ask. And we say this all the time here. If you're hiring someone, ask them for referrals for the other people that they would naturally work with because they've seen the product. And also, like for us, it's client care. So you're
Mhm.
never going to refer Kamiko like a lender that you don't think is the right fit just because it's the
Exactly.
only lender you can think of off the top of your head. You're going to say, you know what, let me think about it, and like let me maybe ask some of my people that work in these neighborhoods a little bit more too, and
Yeah.
see if they have some good suggestions because we really care about you all having a
And
good experience.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I can do as well. I think I'm always particular, and I think we all are in this business about staying in our correct lane and our expertise area. But yes, as a realtor, we have vendor lists and people and preferred people that we've worked with over time. And if that's not working for you, I have a list, right? And then my coworkers and other agents that I work closely with, they have their lists, and we reach out to each other for those recommendations. So that's something that I think is very important for new home buyers. So.
Yeah, I'm so with you. The other thing I see as a photographer, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but so we bought our house in 2017, and the pictures were absolutely horrible of this house. I didn't even want to go see it,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we had been like going to different neighborhoods to have brunch, so it would be like a fun experience for me because Philippe knew that that was going to be one of the things that was important, that I needed to enjoy the area.
Mm-hmm.
So we were having brunch up the street, and he was like, you know what? I feel like we should just go see it. It's right up the street. It's not, there's an open house today. Let's just go. We came and saw it. I noticed that the white balance was absolutely terrible. It made the space look really small. They were just not good photos. We came in and we actually put an offer in. They hadn't even done their real estate walkthrough yet. We put
Yeah.
an offer in before they did that because I knew this house was going to get snatched right up. So,
Yeah.
if you love the neighborhood, sometimes it's still worth checking out the property even if you think that it doesn't show that great online, unless there's like a big, you know,
Oh yeah, definitely. Do your
red
homework.
flag.
Do your homework. Go out, take a look at the neighborhood. At on the weekends, right? In Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon or in the evening if you get a chance. Like you said, go check those things out. Um, do your homework because you ultimately know what you want for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you should really enjoy it. It's a big investment,
yes.
like your wedding day. Again, all of this.
All of it, they're
Loopsy.
all big investments, and you want to make the most educated, well thought out opinion. Again, and there are people like us that are there hopefully to ease some of that stress. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, when you buy a home, you want to be situated in it for at least a few years. And during that time, you're hoping that your home increases in value. What are some of the elements that can increase or decrease value in a home?
yeah, so when you say situated for a period of time, right? And what I find a lot now, again, and we all love, right? I know speaking to these couples, right? When you're looking for a home, you love to go clicking through those first things. You want to click through those pictures. And so as for me, if someone is trying to sell their home and I want to go out and I want to do a walkthrough. First, one of the things I'm looking at updated homes, right? I'm looking at, are your appliances updated? I'm looking at your flooring. You said you have a spacious closet, but it's not quite so spacious, right? Things like that are going to increase. I wouldn't say necessarily increase or decrease. I think where I'm going with this one is going to make your house more marketable. You can, yes, it could increase the value of your home if you update your appliances. Because we know now, right? Stainless steel, things like that, granite countertops, those are in, right? And then if you're trying to, and we know where the market is now and where prices are, and if you're trying to sell a home, and with, let's just be honest, white appliances, and nothing wrong with that, but we've kind of transitioned and trend from there. And so if you're trying to sell a home like that, and then, let's just say for $500,000, right? And that you see your neighbor, you're thinking, well, maybe I can increase my price because my neighbor, put theirs on the market for 600, right? But your neighbor has updated. Your neighbor has new fixtures and new lighting put in. And again, the appliances, that is big, new washer and dryer. Those types of things are going to increase or possibly decrease the value of your home if you haven't updated it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, people will just straight not come in because pictures don't look great, and
Hmm.
they can't always tell why they don't like it but they know they don't like it. So, and while yes, it isn't that expensive, if you're going to get a deal on a house, you can upgrade the appliances yourself. But in terms of your reselling, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
guess that's another thing to think about when you're
Right.
buying. You can
Yes.
update things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take on like a full kitchen reno immediately out of a wedding, but
Exactly. And
uh,
some people they're willing to do it. Well, I'll get it a little bit cheaper and then you will update over time. And if that's what's right for you, by all means do that. But those are some of the things in particular, if you looking to sell and you're
yeah,
wondering why maybe your neighbor got a little bit more than you got, that those are some factors. Also, again, we talk a lot about these pictures, but upkeep of the exterior of your home, those things matter as well. So.
yeah, and it actually your neighbors matter too.
Yes, 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 yes. Your neighbors matter. Yes, we spoke about the neighborhood. I know some of that is we have limited control over, but yeah, we pay attention to the neighborhood, right? And what parks are there, and where the neighborhood has possibly um, gone, kind of how it's developed or not developed in recent years. That's all a factor. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine, they're just tearing it out house by house.
Yeah.
So
Uh
sad.
oh.
So I know we've got a ton of stuff that we can talk about in real estate, but I was wondering if you have any, advice for couples or new home buyers when they're looking those to buy that first house together.
Yeah. I can't preach enough to do your homework when you're looking to buy that first home together. One of the things, and it's something that you can do, or they can do as couples, is sit down and what I would put out to people is a questionnaire, an interest, kind of like an interest survey of what you like, what you don't like, what are your negotiables, non-negotiables, and I think that's important for couples to do first, right, before you come see the professionals, or what you really truly want, what you're willing to part with, as you embark on this new union together in your hopefully new home. And so I think that's a good place to start. And then you bring those to someone like me. And then, as I've been saying along the way, do your homework. Um, know who's working for you in this process. Like I said, you have your lender and you have your realtor, and know our roles, understand our roles, ask questions. We always say, right, no question is a dumb question. You want to know, this is a big purchase. This is a purchase that's going to be with you for a long while, so you want to make sure that you have an understanding that's going to be best for you and your spouse.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Because there's nothing, I mean, yeah, like I think we made a list of like non negotiables, nice to haves, and
Mhm.
absolutely nots.
Yes.
Um, and we ended up, in the perfect spot for us. And it worked out great. But yeah, starting with those little pieces, and I think really relying on a realtor that you can trust, a lender that you can trust, as you said, that you can ask questions to, like who's approachable and who's going to help you and wants you to have this home that you love.
Exactly. And there's so much. I know I didn't get into it in some of the earlier questions, but I just kind of wanted to fuse in particular when you're looking, or when you're ready to make, if you have made an offer, the things that we're going to work together with to develop your understanding on, the home inspections, all of those things. And I was hesitant to even say that say that, because I know, like, something, just the idea of that is, it can stress people out. But those are the things that people need to be aware of, have an understanding of. So utilize us, so that we can we'll walk you through the process and what to expect, right? And that's part of what someone like myself does, helping you
Yeah.
know what to expect, making sure you don't get caught in any loopholes, in particular as it pertains to, right, because it's a big contract business, right? We're signing contracts. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah. And
yeah.
there are a lot of contingencies and things that, you
Mhm.
need someone you can trust that can walk you through those pieces.
Yeah. They aren't written they aren't written easy, right? They sometimes they're hard to interpret, and yes, we're part of this process together. I don't make you, ultimately, the couples, they make all the decisions, right? I'm just there to support you along the way. So, you're taking a look at everything, and it's my job to interpret and provide that understanding.
Yeah, and be an incredible resource for
Yes,
people,
exactly.
um, continually, because if I need a builder later because I wanna do a renovation, then you can refer me to a builder that you've seen do good work.
That's right.
Um,
It comes back to that vendor list. So yes, I'm a continued resource. So once you once you have, once you sign on, once you have me, I'm here with you. I'm here with you for life. So not to make it sound like weird, like she's not going away. Like, no. But when you need me, I'll be here.
yeah, I'm available to support you
Yes,
as needed.
exactly.
I love it. Well, I'm very excited to have you join us at the Couple Social as we record. It's this weekend, and I really hope that all of our listeners, as they are purchasing homes, actually, you know what? I will give you this teeny tiny piece of advice. I've seen couples make this mistake a lot recently. Um, while you are planning a wedding is not always the best time to purchase a house. Um, just think about what your bandwidth is, because if you're planning a wedding for 3 years, you're fine. Like, you've got
Yeah.
the time. But if
Hmm.
you're trying to settle on a house the week before your wedding, it's a little tough. So, yeah, Kimiko is shaking her head no.
No, no, and you're right. Like you gotta have you gotta have your timeline kind of in order, and everybody's needs are different. But like you said, yeah, no, you're if you're having your wedding in August, you're probably not looking to close, August, September 1st, or in July or
Yeah.
anything like that. But again, that's part of the planning, setting your timelines. Again, they'll know what is doable for them.
Yes. Yeah. I totally agree. I just realized I should probably slide that little piece
Yeah,
in
I
there because
agree.
I do keep seeing people make that mistake. I'm like, oh my God, that just the idea of that for me is so stressful. But, people make things work that I think are stressful all the time. Know your own bandwidth. It's just not within mine.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
Well,
on that note, thank you everyone for tuning into the Wedding Dish today. Kimiko, thank you so much for being here. And by the way, it is Kimiko Scott, not Smith, just to be clear. Um, and thank you for sharing your business expertise. Where can our listeners find you online?
oh yes, so I'll be at Arla, so Real Living at Home, re.com, and then you could slash Kamiko Scott, or once you get there, you can search for a realtor and just put in Kamiko Scott.
Perfect. And we'll, of course, link to you in the show notes, in the description here, so people can find you easily. Makes it super duper convenient. And while you are looking up Kamiko, you can find us at theweddingdishpodcast.com, where you can read our show notes. You can apply to be a guest. You can donate to us on Patreon so we can keep bringing you juicy wedding tips and tricks from couples and wedding pros alike. And don't forget to tune in to next episode, where I will be dishing with another incredibly talented wedding professional. And I really appreciate you being here today, Kamiko. Thank you so
I've
much.
had a great time. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Wonderful. Yay. And please subscribe, rate, and review, or follow, rate, and review. Until we meet again. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.